Welcome to the deep dive. We sort through articles, research, all the latest insights to bring you what really matters. And today we're looking at something that feels almost like history rewinding itself. For decades, American manufacturing seemed to be, well, fading, right? Production moving overseas for cheaper labor. Those Made in America labels got rarer and rarer.
Especially in complex tech.
Exactly. But what if that's changing? What if there's this quiet revival happening right here? And the twist isn't just that it's coming back, but why? It's not about chasing low costs this time. It feels more, I don't know, strategic, like resilience, autonomy.
That's a really good way to put it. It's a fundamental shift in thinking.
So today we're digging into this quiet revival of American manufacturing, and we're focusing specifically on Intel, a huge player making a huge move back to the US for microchip production. Our mission here is really to unpack the strategy, the economics, even the geopolitics behind this. Why now? Why does it matter for the economy, for security, maybe even for the planet? We'll use some really interesting recent sources to explore it.
Yeah, there's a lot layered in there.
And look, this matters to you because these microchips, these tiny things, they're basically the hidden engine of our whole digital world, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're everywhere.
So understanding where they're made, who controls that, it affects everything. Your phone, AI, the whole future of tech. This isn't just some corporate shuffle. It's bigger. It's about global economics shifting. Okay, so let's unpack this initial decline first. For years, manufacturing moved out. What was really driving that, and what's behind this renaissance we're seeing now?
Well, the initial decline, you're right, was heavily driven by economics. Global competition basically incentivized companies to find the absolute lowest labor costs, often fewer regulations too. That meant outsourcing production, and it definitely led to that hollowing out you mentioned, gaps in our own industrial base.
Right.
But what's happening now, with Intel as a big symbol, isn't just flipping that switch back. It's different. It's a whole confluence of factors pushing towards localization, especially for critical tech. The core idea seems to be shifting from, pure cost optimization globally to prioritizing national resilience and strategic need. It kind of challenges the old playbook.
That distinction is key, isn't it? Cost versus resilience changes the whole calculation.
Yeah.
And it's not just talk. Intel put serious money down. Can you remind us of the specifics? That announcement was kind of a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. A huge deal. Back in March 2021, Intel announced this, frankly, staggering $20 billion investment.
$20 billion. Wow.
Yeah, to build two completely new semiconductor factories or fabs in Arizona. This wasn't just tweaking things. It was a major strategic pivot. And it's really driven by wanting to secure their own supply chain, make sure they can compete long-term in a really tough global market. Their CEO, Pat Gelsinger, was pretty direct. He said, we are fully committed to the USA and the innovations that a robust domestic infrastructure can foster.
That phrase, robust domestic infrastructure.
Exactly. It points to this bigger ambition, trying to rebuild or maybe establish a more self-reliant American high-tech ecosystem, regaining control over something vital.
A self-reliant ecosystem. Sounds ambitious. But, okay, the big question, why now? What forces aligned to make this feel so, necessary for Intel and maybe the U.S. in general?
That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the $20 billion question here. Several big things converged.
Okay.
Firstly, there's the whole geopolitical angle, this idea of decoupling, particularly from China, as the dominant manufacturing hub for so much tech. There's been growing unease, in the U.S. about being so dependent on a geopolitical rival for critical components like semiconductors.
Understandably.
And Intel's move really lines up with policies from the Biden administration, right? Trying to boost domestic industries, subsidize things like chip manufacturing here, invest in R&D, education, infrastructure, basically trying to reduce that foreign dependency.
So policy is definitely playing a role.
A big role. But then there's the pandemic. That was just a massive, unavoidable wake-up call.
Right, the supply chain chaos.
Exactly. It just brutally exposed how fragile those global supply chains were. We all remember the semiconductor shortage, right? It slammed industries from cars to electronics.
Oh, yeah, trying to buy a car then was something else.
Exactly. Billions lost because they couldn't get enough chips. So companies like Intel felt immense pressure not just to make more chips, but to make sure the supply was reliable, predictable. Those new Arizona plants are designed specifically to address that uncertainty, to give American companies a more secure source of these essential parts. So it's geopolitics, it's pandemic lessons, it's policy, all hitting at once.
It really paints a picture of converging pressures. Okay, so we know chips are important, but let's really hammer this home. We say lifeblood of the digital economy, but what does that mean in concrete terms, beyond phones and laptops?
Well, think about it. They're not just in your phone. They're in the servers running the internet, the cloud. They're crucial for artificial intelligence, which is, forecasting markets, managing power grids.
Mm.
They're absolutely essential for national defense systems. Advanced weaponry, communications, surveillance, all run on sophisticated chips. And every next wave of technology, 5G, the Internet of Things connecting everything, quantum computing eventually, even advanced medicine, it all hinges on getting better and better semiconductors.
So it's foundational for future innovation, too.
Absolutely. So when we talk about manufacturing these domestically, it's not just about jobs or economics in the narrow sense.
Yeah.
It's about trying to secure America's position, its leadership in these future technologies. It's about who leads the next technological era, essentially.
That really puts the stakes into perspective. Okay, so the vision is powerful, leadership, secure supplies, but building multi-billion-dollar factories in the U.S., that can't be easy, right? What are the major hurdles, the practical challenges?
No, you're absolutely right. It's definitely not easy. The biggest, most obvious hurdle is cost. It's just substantially more expensive to manufacture these things domestically compared to many places overseas.
Labor costs, regulations.
Exactly. Labor costs are higher here, and complying with U.S. regulations, environmental and otherwise, adds to the financial burden. It's significant.
So how does Intel plan to make that work? How do they offset those higher costs?
Well, their strategy seems to be leaning heavily into technology itself. They're pushing hard on advanced manufacturing processes, automation, AI in the factory, things like that, aiming for huge gains in efficiency and productivity. The idea is if you can make the factory smart enough, efficient enough, you can offset some of those higher baseline costs like labor, make it competitive through sheer technological edge.
Interesting. Fighting high costs with high tech.
Pretty much. But there's another layer, too, beyond just the economics. Sustainability is becoming a huge factor.
Ah, right. Climate change.
It casts a shadow over everything. And what's interesting here is that building new factories now gives Intel and others a chance to build them differently. They're talking about these being opportunities to really push forward environmentally friendly manufacturing, using green tech, investing in sustainable infrastructure right from the start. It's becoming part of the calculation that corporate responsibility, sustainability needs to align with profitability, build smarter, cleaner.
So it's kind of baked into the plan from the outset.
Increasingly, yes.
Yes.
It has to be.
Okay, so it's a complex balance. Higher costs, needing high efficiency, plus the sustainability push. Zooming out again, what does this mean for the bigger picture in America? Is Intel an outlier, or could this be the start of a broader trend? What are the potential ripple effects?
That's a really important question. I think many see Intel's success or failure here as a potential bellwether.
A test case, kind of.
Exactly. If Intel can pull this off, navigate the cost, the complexities, and make high-tech domestic manufacturing viable and profitable, it could absolutely encourage other U.S. companies, maybe in different sectors too, to rethink their own global footprints, to consider bringing critical production home. And think about the regional impact. These aren't just factory jobs. Building these massive fabs requires huge support networks, suppliers, logistics, specialized services. It creates an ecosystem. So you could see significant stimulation in regional economies. More jobs, yes, but also development of specialized skills, new businesses popping up. It really could start to reshape the economic landscape in some areas, revitalize them perhaps.
So potentially much wider economic impact than just one company.
Potentially, yes, if the trend catches on.
This has been really fascinating, a real deep dive into how these tiny chips connect to these huge global shifts. Intel's move really does feel like a symbol of something bigger, doesn't it? Shifting away from just chasing the lowest cost anywhere in the world toward thinking about resilience, about strategic control closer to home.
It's a rebalancing act.
Yeah, it's shown us it's not just business strategy. It's tied up with national security, economic health, and who leads in future tech. And it leaves you with these big questions, right, about that balance between, a connected global world and the need for self-sufficiency, between leading-edge tech and basic economic security. It's kind of a paradox, isn't it? The very chips connecting the world are now pushing nations to build stronger foundations right at home. Something to think about as you go through your day. What does this shift mean for you, for the country?
Definitely food for thought.